All right, and welcome back to another episode of Catching Colorado. And today we're going to tie up a fun one. This is an ice fishing jig, actually. So this has nothing to do with fly fishing in my world. However, you could probably ice fish with this. This is called a Simcoe Bug, and we are going to start this fly by using a 1120 size 8. That's an Umpqua hook. It's a 2X heavy, 1X short hook. And we are also pairing that up with a firehole stone. And these are in white. They're tungsten beads. They're 4.5 millimeters. And this is actually a great deal. You get 28 beads for $10. So pretty decent deal, at least that I was able to find for these beads locally. And what we are going to do to tie up the Simcoe Bug is we are going to start with wire. We don't do a bunch of thread underbody. We will put some thread on this just to help secure the wire, but the thread doesn't really matter. So I wouldn't say, it's anything in particular, but either way, we're looping on just a tiny bit of 70 denier white thread and going immediately into our .020 lead wire. And you want a decent sized piece of this. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay that wire right on the inside of that bead, and then we are going to wrap back, and I'm just wrapping this wire right on top of the hook. It does not need to be pretty. This is all going to get covered up by a material that is fairly thick and can handle covering up some mistakes. So once we get to the bottom here, I'm just going to seesaw that free and bring my thread back up to the top, and I'm going to stick another layer right on top here. It's all about taper, and we are going to bring that about a little over halfway back, maybe a little less. Right there. Looks about good. I'm going to bring my thread up here to the front, drop it down a bit, and we are going to start using the rotary function of the vise to build us a tapered body. This part isn't, it doesn't have to be perfect, we'll put it that way. It isn't imperative that you get great wraps. We are literally just building a taper onto this. So we just want it to get a little thicker as we go up to the top, because like I said, we are not doing a ton of thread. Here's an interesting part. You can use the bead to kind of bounce back your wire and start making back wraps that will create a thicker, very top of your fly, high body. And once I get it about halfway from the secondary wraps we did, then you can use this thread to really help you keep things from moving around. Also really helps when you're trying to helicopter free your wire, which we'll do now. There we go. We got that free. We kind of squish some stuff down here, and I would say that looks like a pretty decent tapered body. Then what we're going to tie in is Kylie's nymph skins. This is a white. These are about 3 millimeters wide, and they're just thick enough. I would probably prefer something just a hair thicker, because I think you'll get a little bit more dimension to your body. But if you don't use a lot of resin at the end of this fly, these work perfect, which I do not use a ton of resin. So what we're going to do is just tie in this nymph skin. And I'm pulling fairly tight here as I wrap down the body. And this is also helping a little bit with the taper. And then at the very end, I just want to note that I am holding the nymph skin on the back side of the fly as I finish kind of tying it in the bottom. And then I'm going to bring that all the way back up to the top. And I'm just going to hang it right there off the front. And then what we want to do is we want to start building the body. So before I use the rotary function, I'm going to do a couple quick tight wraps with the nymph skin underneath. And we want to just get this fly started off right. So I think 2 wraps or so of tight nymph skin, and then we can start to get going. And then how I'm going to work this material is I'm going to lay it really flat. I'm going to pinch it in my back hand, and then I've got a hand free for the vise. If I need more tension, I can pull back. If I need less tension, I can come forward. And that's going to really give us the ability to control the body. I think less is more with this fly. So the least amount of tension you can do without letting it fall apart is kind of where you want to be. So I am just going to try to hockey tape this. Played a lot of hockey growing up, so that's what I think of when I do this. Nice even segments going all the way up, and just making sure you're not getting a ton of bubble, and just nice even segments. And you can see as I'm working it, kind of tighten up just to get a segment straightened out, and then I loosen up, and that gives us a little bit of a fatter, thicker body. And that's what we're kind of going for, is that nice buggy look. Even segments coming up. And as we get to the top here, it's not a bad idea to wrap a couple times. And I think that's about where I want to be. So then I'm going to take my thread here, which I still have the white, and I'm going to lock this in. Couple wraps over the top, and then you can fold it back, and you can do a couple wraps right behind, and then you want to stretch this stuff real good, and it's pretty strong, and then you can just pop it out like that. So now sort of got our fly going, and then what I'm going to do is whip finish out this white thread in favor of something that has a little bit more bulk to it. And for me, that is a pink midge body material. Doesn't really matter what you use, just a thicker thread altogether. And I'm going to do a couple wraps here and then snip out the tag. I don't know the size of this. I got this on clearance, so I can't really tell you what it is, unfortunately. But I think it's like a Vivus or a midge body by like, what is the brand? It's a midge body material, but this is a fluorescent pink. You can really use anything you want. A lot of guys will use thread here, so it doesn't matter too terribly much. But I'm just building up a little bit of a collar here. And that collar, I want to kind of match the width of the bead. So, bulking us up here, I would say we're getting pretty close to the width there. And then going to whip finish this out. 2, 3 turn whip finish. And that is a pretty good looking Simcoe Bug. Now, a couple notes on this fly. So you could leave it as this, and you could fish it. These segments will get chewed up, and eventually you'll have to replace the fly. Some people like that because it's going to give the fish a little bit more of a tactile feel, like it's an actual midge or a bug. I like to add a little bit of resin to it. The only caution that I'll say is if you are going to add resin, use like a solar resin bone dry, and don't use a lot of it at all. I just like to have a little bit of a wet brush and then just kind of brush the outsides of it just to give it a little bit of hardness. What you can do is you can use it kind of like a Perdigon up here on the top, and you can put a little bit more solar res over the top of the fly as you're trying to just, get the bead and the collar to match. So like now we've got a pretty decent bead and collar match. And then I'm going to come in here and just kind of spin this around. And you see we kind of get that Perdigon look where now it's all sort of one piece. But the body, you want to keep those segments. So with the body, I am really drying out this brush right now in my jar. And then I am just going to kind of pat, go over it. And that way the body is a little bit more durable when it comes to fish, but you don't lose the segmentation. Segmentation is key on this. So I'm just kind of patting it all around here, and it's not going to be perfect, but it just kind of helps with the durability with those trout teeth. So that's that part, and then just hit it with the UV one more time, kind of spin it around a couple times, and that fly is done. So this right here, again, is called a Simcoe Bug. We still have the definition and the ribs and kind of, you know, the nice look to it, but it's a lot more durable now. And we have this nice bright high-vis pink collar that's going to help the fish see it. Absolutely amazing fly, killer for fishing ice. If you give this guy a try, I think you're going to have a lot of success, and they sell for a pretty penny online. So it's nice to be able to tie up some of these and not have to spend a ton of money at the store. So if you guys have any questions about the Simcoe Bug, let me know. You can do a whole bunch of different colors with this, so experiment, try different things, see what you like. This pattern's been pretty good, but you could try just about anything. Greens, pinks, purples, fluorescent colors. You could just even do a clear one and the fish will still eat it. Great pattern for perch, panfish, and trout, and I hope you guys enjoyed. So if you have any comments or questions, leave them down below. And thanks for watching this episode of Catching Colorado. We will see you in the next one.
Thanks for watching the video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you're interested in more relatable content, you can check out these videos right here. Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe down below so you can stay updated on our next adventures.